Right, today we're going to introduce you to the inverter spot welder here. Standard welds, so they do boron, high strength steels, zinc panels, that sort of material. It does many things. It does double-sided welding, it does single-sided welding, it does dent pulling, carbon shrinking. Okay, so let's turn it on and have a look at the control panel here.
So Mike, what's it doing?
Okay, as you can see on the front of there, it's asking us to press the trigger to calibrate. So we simply press the trigger on the double-sided gums, let it go, and as you can see, it goes on to the last function that we're using on. In this case, we're using it on the slide hammer, which is the dent pulling function.
Okay.
What we'd like to do now is just simply put it back to the double-sided function. We will press this return button here. At the moment you can see that's on the air puller. We come back through and we just press it again, and as you can see we've come on to the double-sided spot welding system. What you see on there, this FE stands for ferrous metals. If you go through the menu, we can actually go through different sizes. If we go up and down, we can see it'll do zinc, high strength steels, boron, back to ferrous metals again. What we'll do now is we'll just demonstrate a little double-sided weld. I have a couple of coupons here ready. Until it stops. And here we have our weld. What we'll do next is we'll demonstrate a peel test. The best way to make sure that the welder is actually calibrated correctly and we've got all the right settings on it is to carry out a destructive peel test. Now, a peel test is when we just simply break away one panel from the parent panel and to see how that actually breaks away. So I'll just carry out the peel test and then I'll describe it more as we go. So we attach a pair of pliers, grips, to the panel, and we just break it from the actual panel, the parent panel. And as you can see, it's a very tough weld. It's not breaking easy. So the indications are very good, so I'll just come in a bit closer there and just obviously these are hands of steel, but normally a normal human being would be wearing gloves in this situation.
I get it, Mike, I get it.
And we're off. As you can see, this is a successful weld. We've ripped a hole straight out the parent metal, and we have the little nugget here on the panel that we've just ripped away, indicating that that's a nice solid weld through the two panels, and we've had to tear a hole in it to actually remove the weld. Really handy aspect of this is all the single-sided gun functions that it does. What we've got to do to access them is to press the return button again, and you can see that we've on the slide hammer, they're quite easy to follow. It's just like your phone, really, a phone menu. All you got to do is it's a pictorial menu, and then you go to each of the functions. If you press the up button, you'll see that this welds captive nuts. On this one, it's for putting in welding on studs. The 6mm nut. Oh, that's the 6mm nut, and the other one's the 8mm. Have I got my glasses, mate? Can you pass me glasses? That's the 6mm nut. The other one was the 8mm nut. We do the stitch welding function. The single-sided spot welder, as you can see there. You can go scroll across here, and it gives different thicknesses. You come back here on the preset menus. You come up through here. This is the carbon shrinking rod function. and this final one is a dent puller. Now what we'll do, we'll have a little go at the dent puller just to demonstrate it and show you how it works. First of all, we need to put on an earth cable. So I'll just show you this. This is our earth cable. You can see that the whole thing is held up by a very substantial hoist for us, because these cables are so heavy with continued welding you'd never be able to lift it over a long period of time. You need to connect the earth cable to the actual vehicle or the panel that you're doing the function on. You can do this by actually attaching one of the screws that we looked at the function, and this is one that we prepared earlier for this very purpose. We put the earth cable on and we can screw it on like so, and get a nice firm connection whilst we're actually carrying out the process. Okay, you may have noticed that the earth strap have now been moved from that point to that point. This is because the guys earlier were using the machine doing the repairs on this door. To get optimum earthing and connection for this panel, we need to go onto the same panel. Just remember, guys, to make sure that your battery's out. In this case, the battery's all disconnected in this one. Either that or use the appropriate surge protectors, because you don't want to set off any of the electrical systems. Okay, this is how it works. Again, you apply some pressure to the actual dent, find your lowest point, and press, and just it might pull. And this is not quite welding on there, so it might be a good idea to turn the voltage up a little bit on the system. Just turn the voltage up just a tad. That's better, and there we're starting to get the dent pulled. And just give a little twist on the end. Quite important, guys, that if you do pull holes in these things, that we make sure that we weld up the holes again. You can actually get a stud function to put a weld into the holes and grind down. And if you get the high spots too high, there's also another function of this where you can actually apply heat directly onto the lump itself, where it actually shrinks it back into the panel as well.